Alright, hope you're doing well. I try to explain sometimes that it's not personal. I mean, it is, but it isn't. You know, even when you hear it, you feel like it's personal. Right. Here's the thing. When you argue, what are you arguing for? When you debate, you know, when you try to explain something, what are you doing it for? Right? I told you about this, those of you that constantly watch, told you about this about 6 months ago. I got in a phone conversation with a person that used to be a friend, and we had separated on our learning. They felt that they had a lot of things, and I felt like I was constantly learning new things. They came to a point, and they said, we had stopped talking for a little bit, and then we rekindled the conversation, and they said to me, about the time I was doing Genesis, going over Abel, they said to me, well, what's the point? You know, Abel actually being the lamb. Well, what's the point? Why does everyone ignore God's first creation, which, of course, are the sons of God, which are the fallen angels? And, you know, at that point when I heard that person say that, you know, well, what's the point going into that? You know, what about God's first creation? Well, here's the thing. This is me, and this is that person. Like, we're both considered humans. You know, no matter who looks at us, you know, whatever their belief is, whether they believe in man and human, you know, or they think men and human are the same thing, whatever. We're both humans. What kind of an argument can a human present? Well, what does humans matter? Because fallen angels were created first, whether they fell or not. What kind of an argument is that for a human? See, let's say the human wins that argument. What benefit do they get from that argument? If you're a human, there's no benefit from that argument. There's no benefit from arguing the point of the fallen angels. You know, this person is just average Joe Schmo. They don't worship fallen angels. They believe they worship the Creator. They felt like they were away from the Christ entity. But you know, in their conversation, you can hear the rockiness of their belief system. You know, so it's easy to see. From my perspective, it's easy to see that my ex-friend was influenced. Alright? Now, I'm not saying, oh, you're under the devil, oh, you got demons on you, you're possessed. Nothing like that. Influenced. Simply influenced. There's enough chatter in your ear that your opinion has been swayed back to that side. Yeah, that's fine. Because if it happens to you, it just happens to you. But I don't want to hear that stuff. I truly don't. You know? And this is why I tell you, when you go out and talk to people, try not to be personal with them. You know, like I would. Be somebody different. Because you're not going to be arguing their argument. Everybody's influenced by something or already has been influenced by something. So what they're going to do is they're going to debate their influences. If they're debating with you the Creator and they're debating for the Creator, then you're not, you know, there's nothing to gain there. You're both on the same page. Once they bring this Christ entity in, then you know you're not on the same page and they're not really talking about the Creator. Now, they might think they are, But the God of what we call Jesus, or the Father of Jesus, is historically made up. You got to go to these people that created the Bible and pushed the Bible onto their churches. And then you understand how this came about. Now we're going to look at something today, and it's a bit long. It's a 59-minute movie. It's an hour-long movie. And it's from the fallen angel's perspective. Now, this movie highlights so much pagan garbage. Who would have thought they would put it all in one piece of yeah, but it's perfect because it's all in one. So we can just take a bow and just shoot them down one by one. And it's best lined up like this. Now, what we're going to hear first off, I'm going to take us far into this video, and we're going to go to the 40-something minute mark, and we're going to listen to this famous theorist, mathematician, and blah 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 blah, whatever else credentials he has. And he's going to give us the, let's say it's the true definition of Illuminati. Let's just leave it at that. Right? Now, before I start, I gotta tell you, I want to kill Siri. Oh, man. Have you had countless advertisements about Siri today? Oh man, oh my head, oh, hey, heads or tails? Okay, it's gonna be space cowboys? Is that what he said? You know what I'm talking about, don't you? And then the other guy, yeah, I'll get back to that one. You see the other guy dancing, right? Yeah, hey Siri, how about some, what do you say, how about some 80s music, right? And Siri starts playing The Devil Inside by In Excess. In Excess means too much, right? He does the 666 symbol. When he's dancing, he does one of these, right? And it's down here. Yeah, wait till you see it if you haven't already. The Devil Inside, and then he does a 666 move, right? So, Space Cowboys, right? With Django upset. Oh, alright, so Space Cowboys. Cowboys are infamous for cowboys and Indians, alright? The Indians, no matter what type of Indian it was the natural resident of this land. The cowboys were the people that went out and shot down the Indians, right? To a degree? Okay, Space Cowboys and Indians, you've already been warned about the megacities. You've already been warned about your new colonists being what they call aliens. You and I know that they're the descendants of fallen angels. Alright, so Space Cowboys is what? The beginning, middle, and you know, of colonization with Space Cowboys and us dumb humans. No matter what color you are. Because remember, we're now all Indians, and we're all about to get wiped out by the new cowboys. And that's what they're trying to tell you. See, the Bible's telling us in a nice way, everything that happened that led up to the flood is going to happen again. These fallen angels are going to come back, and they're going to start making the Nephilim babies, and then, you know, it leads into... Eventually they get so big they start eating humans again. Because it's the only thing that satisfies their hunger. Because they're not right. So, what is the Illuminati? Let's have this guy tell us.
Since the battle in Atlantis, the brothers of Shambhala have led the spiritual elite to build diverse world empires.
Yes.
Who are the Illuminati?
Who are the Illuminati?
It's one of the most interesting questions that one would never find answered in the academic textbooks. The information about it is missing from the public libraries. However, after years of research and primarily association with the large American dissident political community, I have discovered for myself
did you hear
knowledge
that?
and books that normally...
So listening to the dissident community, alright, the people that live in America and hate America because of the lies. You can go and look up dissident and the description of dissident, but it really wouldn't, let's just do it ourselves. Dissident. Dissident. Spell like shit. Alright, a person who opposes official policy, especially that of an authoritarian state. So those who oppose policy. See, that doesn't really give you a fair definition of U.S. or any other dissident. And it doesn't give you a description of U.S. policy. You've got to understand we live in a Christian nation that preaches all these great values, but the actions of our political leaders, our military leaders, our social leaders are destructive, thievish, and murderous. So let's hear that again.
Research and primarily association with the large American dissident political community. I have discovered for myself knowledge and books that normally is simply impossible to get. It has been deleted from the public libraries in the best Orwellian tradition by the Illuminati themselves. Whether the Illuminati are the topmost layer of the secret societies on the planet is not that important a question. There may be other levels above them. What is important is that the Illuminati are the interface between the secret societies, this pyramid of secret societies on the planet, and the extraterrestrials above them. There are...
Did you hear that? They're the interface. Between the entities and the ruling class of human. The Illuminati are not the ruling class of human. They are the middleman between the entities. They are witches. Do you get it? They are witches. They sell you the car. The world leader wants power. He goes to the witch. I need to contact the fallen angels. The fallen angels gives these what? Humans power. These humans can't contact them directly. They need the witches.
Many books that indicate that, let's call it the Politburo, the Illuminati has members that are either extraterrestrials that beam down for every meeting, or even the rumor is that Lord Maitreya himself may be materializing for some of the more important meetings that they have.
The Maitreya. Hey, that's kind of funny. I'm going to show you something. There you go, like Terrence. Trent D'Arby, 2015. What? Singer killed by internet death hoax. That's great. Alright, so Terrence Trent D'Arby. Let's type in Maitreya. And remember, I can't spell worth shit. Here, we'll do it even better. We'll just do it. Terrence Trent D'Arby, name change. Alright. Boy, this is horrible. This is in 2003. That's not good. Uh-oh. Wow, man. You really gotta dig to find this, don't you? Alright. Anyway, I was watching there we go. Finally. So I was watching Yahoo News the other day, and Terrence Trent D'Arby changed his name to Sandandra or some shit, Maitreya. And so here I'll just type in Maitreya right there. And then M-A-I-T. Oh, now they know it's Maitreya. So I can just... So in the article that I saw, he said he made a statement that he should have raised more hell. What is this, man? This doesn't... I don't want... My computer's just being just... evil. Oh, well, that's just music. Anyway, so he changed his name to Maitreya. Here you see Terrence Trent D'Arby, Sandana Maitreya. That's his new name. Alright, so even though that was done in 2010, I just seen the article like a few days ago. So anyway, look, he changed the name to Maitreya, and these people are waiting for their Maitreya to usher in, you know, Lucifer or Apollyon.
Extraterrestrials that beam down for every meeting, or even the rumor is that Lord Maitreya himself may be materializing for some of the more important meetings that they have. So basically, the Illuminati are the quiet, underground, low-key interface between our secret terrestrial government and aliens above it. Aliens who themselves are subcontracting for even higher levels of celestial management structure.
Management structure. Haven't we brought that up before? These other gods were placed over Israel as their god to be what? Management. Until they got out of hand. The Yah, the Baal, the YHWH.
What is the political program of the Illuminati? What is their political manifesto? Comrade Lucifer is known in the celestial nomenclature as the bright morning star. So
Lucifer, again, is known as the bright morning star.
Anything that is associated with light.
Anything associated with light. So Jesus is the morning star.
Anything that has a light in its title. A book that talks a lot about light rather than about love is probably inspired by the Luciferian, by the Illuminati presence on the planet. And basically the Illuminati are the secret political party that has to prepare the political, the philosophical, the religious, and the cultural groundwork for the establishment of, should we call it the second coming, the millennium?
Okay, so why would witches need to lay the groundwork of the second coming if Christ is supposed to be good? Watch this again, dude.
A book that talks a lot about life rather than about love is probably inspired by the Luciferian, by the Illuminati presence on the planet. And basically the Illuminati are the secret political party that has to prepare the political,
philosophical,
the religious, and the cultural groundwork for these.
Aren't those the things that imprison us? the politics of white supremacy imprison us. You're telling me they were taught by fucking fallen angels on how to do this to other people? Seriously, listen again. Listen to what he's trying to tell you.
It's probably inspired by the Luciferian, by the Illuminati presence on the planet. And basically the Illuminati are the secret political party that has to prepare the political, the philosophical, the religious, and the cultural groundwork for the establishment.
The whole world does not worship the Creator. The whole world worships Christ. Right? Right. Doesn't Lucifer say in Isaiah 14, I'm going to curb the prayers of the Most High? He's going to turn the prayer somewhere else. Most likely to himself. Getting them ready. This is what the witch's job is to do. Get them ready for the second coming. So they're prepped.
The underground, low-key interface between our secret terrestrial government and aliens above it. Aliens who themselves are subcontracting for even higher levels of celestial management structures. What is the political program of the Illuminati?
The hierarchy of it, right? When we go to the book of Enoch, and this is where it all starts to take form. And when we start learning what's going on in the book of Enoch and what happens with the Watchers, we learn that there's a political, a war structure of them. Some are in charge of others. And so this is what he's talking about to some degree, even though he's not saying that. A hierarchy that is going on. Alright? And we're being led right into this. There's a hierarchy of the fallen. Now, this video is about Atlantis, Hollow Earth. We're going to go to the beginning now. It's about Atlantis, Hollow Earth, Atlantis, and the Origins of Human, Part 1, The Dawn of the Gods. Must-see documentary, MP4. So just pause the video right now, and if you want to open it on your own, there it is. But it's... Let's jump into this, because this is... This one's... Anybody hear Zeus? And Socrates' name in there?
Aeons ago, Brothers from outer space, under the spiritual guidance of the Masters of Wisdom, the creators of the universe.
Brothers from outer space. Now remember, fallen angels are sons of God. If they're sons of God, they are sons of one, then that makes them brothers. Eons ago, brothers, what?
Aeons ago, brothers from outer space, under the spiritual guidance of the Masters of Wisdom, the creators of the universe, came to Earth and settled in the core of the planet. Their task was to prepare the surface of the planet for the development of higher forms of biological life and for the reincarnation of souls.
Blah, blah, blah. Their job was to prepare the Earth for you. They were supposed to dig rivers and valleys, and they got lazy.
Destroyed in the atomic explosion, which had shattered the planet Melona, Lucifer, located between Jupiter.
Now, you just heard they said an atomic explosion happened on a planet when no one was there to record it. When no one was there to record it, a planet called Lucifer was destroyed. Well, how do they know this if no one was there to record it? Now, first, the planet's called Melona, then it's called Lucifer.
Surface of the planet for the development of higher forms of biological life and for the reincarnation of souls destroyed in the atomic explosion, which had shattered the planet Melona, Lucifer, located between Jupiter and Mars.
Now, you just heard it. Located between Jupiter and Mars, there was a planet with two names.
These higher super-like bodies, completed humans, knew the divine hierarchy's mysteries of creation. They were aware of the planet's inner logos, whose consciousness gave birth to unique soul groups, each able to incarnate at different times.
Incarnate at different times. I think that's strange, weird people code for shapeshift. Now, if you incarnate, that means you have to decarnate. That means you have to die. So since decarnating isn't brought up, I don't think they're using the right phrase. Hence, they want to trick you.
Depending on their specific stage of development in each period, human souls incarnate in order to further their growth.
Now, that's not true. Now, we've heard from the Creator in the Book of Jubilees and in other books, that's not what happens with the soul. So right here is a pure lie. Now hold tight and listen to the lie, so when somebody that you're talking to brings it up, you know they're full of fucking shit.
Choose very specific life experiences through thousands of incarnations until they reach completion as human beings. In the beginning, our brothers from outer space built cities.
You see that shit? You see how that looks like a freaking transformer? Like, that's a ship, and that's some kind of thing moving and bending over. And shooting a beam down or pouring water out. But the ship is pouring out water too. Okay.
Is in the center of the earth. Agartha, the Garden of Eden, was created.
Okay, so now they've just called the Garden of Eden. Every nation on the earth calls the Garden of Eden the Garden of Eden. And now we're going with German's name for Agartha, which is the center of the earth, where they believe a city is, but have no evidence of proving it. So now what they've done is they've combined two names again, just like they did with that planet earlier.
And many collaborators of the Galactic Confederation came voluntarily to Earth.
Now, look at that. When a planet blew up, and Agartha moved to what? The center of the earth all of a sudden? All of a sudden, many, entities of the Galactic Federation? So now all of a sudden, We're talking creation on the chronological scale. Now all of a sudden there's a galactic federation. Now, I don't want to go into how, like, a story is formed and, like, you know, how you make it, you know, a story so that there's no holes in it. But there's a lot of holes in this story already. Right? Now, you see the whole swastika and the whole, you know, Egyptian stick figure, right? That's really what the Ankh is. It's a stick figure. They tell you it's a vagina, but it's not. It's a stick figure. It's a head and on a cross. You know, that's all it is.
All colors and races of humanoids contributed their genetic material, as well as their plant and animal species.
Alright, see, now this is Genesis 6 in a, how do you say this, a philosophical way to tell it. Now, you see the blue bean, right? I'm always telling you about these Vishnu and Anu freaks, right? And you see how this chick, even though when you zoom in, it looks like she's got a penis. You see how this chick is over everybody. Like, you see this one? That's the head. That's her arms. Her torso is underneath. Like, this thing is actually busting freaking, you know what's on these people. Notice the people are laying in a 6-pointed star. 1 head, 2 head, 3 head. Oop. 1 head, 2 head, 3 head, 4, 5, 6. Ooh, a 7-pointed star. Ooh, they're getting more paganistic as the day goes by. Hold on. Note, not for profanity. Note the crotch, how this blue thing with breasts looks like it has a...
Involuntarily to Earth. All colors and races of humanoids contributed their genetic material, as well as their plant and animal species, to this biological genesis.
So now they just took away the power of God, right? God created these things with Adam, every plant and herb and every animal, and now all of a sudden, like, these fallen blue things did it with their genetic material. Now Genesis 1 through Genesis 4 doesn't really make a difference, and we're just skipping to Genesis 6, and that's when the Bible starts all of a sudden.
In the creation plan of the Cosmic Father, the Earth was considered a suitable living space planetarium, which would produce a universal humanoid able to overcome all polarities and a diversity of climatic zones. Until that point in time, there had been a great diversity of non-humanoid species taking part in the development of souls. The differences were so great that the souls had extreme difficulty reincarnating into the bodies of other star systems. Therefore, the cosmic purpose was to establish a new experimental zone of creation, synthesizing all souls into a universal body type. The Galactic Confederation and its leaders, the Melchizedek Order, the Brothers of Light.
Now they steal, like, names directly out of the Bible. Now there's a Melchizedek Order, and you know you're gonna find out that this is just this stupidest, most pagan shit you've ever heard. And now, if you don't have popcorn or something to chew on, you know, you don't need it, because, you know, you want to hear all this garbage so you can debunk it when some moron starts saying it to you.
Descended to Earth to introduce a new type of human being.
Now, Melchizedek of the Bible is no longer born from this man or that man or anything like that. He is descended from to Earth, all right? And he's brought this order, and he's brought it to do what? Oh...
all souls into a universal body type.
To make a universal body type.
The Galactic Confederation and its leaders, the Melchizedek Order, the Brothers of Light.
They are the leaders of the Galactic Federation. Everybody should join, right? You should have your members, your members jacket, and shut the...
Descended to Earth to introduce a new type of human being.
They brought a new human in the luggage compartment. It was just add water.
And a planetary pregnancy.
Oh yeah.
They created the human species in their own image and assisted in its genetic improvement.
Okay, so at this point, in their point of view, there's a bunch of different entities and 2 types of humans now.
I'm a specialist in extraterrestrial visits.
This man is an idiot, and if you listen to him, your soul will burn up on Judgment Day. I'm a specialist in Freemasonry. My goal is to curb public opinion to the fallen angels.
That took place thousands of years ago. Our ancestors did not understand these visitors. They thought there were some gods. They did try to copy the technology of the heaven.
So, the funny thing is, the Bible actually calls them gods. There was a God put over every nation. Who says that? The host of hosts. The God of gods tells you that. But this fucking piece of is gonna tell you, oh no, our ancestors thought they were gods. They were mistaken.
Terrestrial visits that took place thousands of years ago. Our ancestors did not understand these visitors. They thought there were some gods. They did try to copy the technology of the heavenly creatures. Of course, not correctly. Not the function of the technique. A Stone Age man.
Really? Oh, listen, a Stone Age man
who sees a car, for example, cannot reproduce a car, but he can draw it. He can carve it into rock. He can carve it into hide.
Okay, so when we see shit carved on walls, it's because they could carve it, but they couldn't build it. But yet these writings, even of Enoch, tell you these fallen angels, they sat there and taught men how to do all this shit. See, we're not taking into respect that when the flood happened, all this stuff was buried. Anybody see the landslide that happened? Cars buried with 5 feet of mud. As soon as the water dries out, it's just packed dirt in the car. Imagine 6,000 years ago, and a mega landslide happened on the face of this foundation. You'd have to dig for a long time to find anything that our ancestors built technological wise. Like right now we can dig and we can find some pottery and we can find some of their housing units.
All went well according to plan until the downfall of the angels. The reincarnating.
What? The downfall of... Now they're called angels. Now look at the blue bean standing over the woman.
Carve it into hide.
See? Oh, it's a dude with a mustache. My bad. He looks very feminine. My bad.
All went well according to plan until the downfall of the angels.
So you can see this guy begging this entity for power. See, it's blue. See the Vishnu, the Anu. It's the same entity. Vishnu is Anu.
The reincarnating animal-like humans were improved through that.
Whoa. See, this is another species of fallen angel, and we're not respecting that. Like, we're acting like this is some dumbed-down version of human that needed to bang these fallen angels to become humans. No, this is a type of fallen angel. And that's what we're not respecting.
Animal-like humans were improved through direct genetic intervention.
Now look at this weirdness. This is why they do all the Venus stuff, right? It looks like a male, but it has what? A man's chest and a vagina, and it's spewing stuff into the what? Okay.
And in a short time span, developed suitable bodies. The bodies of these creations became perfect in such a short time that souls from Malona, Lucifer, Venus and Mars, who in past times had already gone through cycles of incarnation and creation.
So now they've gone through what? 4 different names: Malona, Lucifer, Venus, and Mars. So this one planet sat between these 2 planets, right? Men are from Mars, women are for Venus, or some shit like, however that goes.
We're now able
and then
to
what? The planet between them is the combination of the 2, the hermaphrodite, the Baphomet. See how this metaphysical bullshit works in these people's mind?
Incarnate on Earth in order to attain completion. From that time on, two types of humans inhabited the planetarium Earth. The true immortal and physically etheric beings in the center of the Earth, who watched
the true
creation and its evolution.
The true beings, right? These are the true beings. Well, we were created first. We're sons of God. That fucking fell and they got kicked out. So here are these people that worship these beings again, which are told not to worship. The one who created heaven said, do not worship anything but the one that created heaven. So here you can hear how he sells these fallen angel like a used car. Listen to this.
And the mortal creations who purified themselves through reincarnation.
There's no reincarnation for mortals, but here we go again. This esoteric bullshit that people fall for all the time.
From that time on, two types of humans inhabited the planetarium Earth. The true immortal and physically etheric beings in the center of the Earth, who watched over creation and its evolution. And the mortal creations who purified themselves through reincarnation.
Them and you. And look at this bullshit. Here you go. Purified yourself as old men through reincarnation, going through the water, death and life, and then you come out as babies. Look at this bullshit. Like, this is such a crock of shit. Because actually, there's the first half of the picture, right? You start with life, and then here's the end of the picture. See, they can't even give you the truth about life and death. They're trying to tell you somewhere along the way you can be reborn. Show me someone that's been reborn. God must be talking to these reborn people. They must have many messages for us all from the true Creator. They ain't got shit.
And developed towards human beings. In accordance with the plan, human beings brought forward civilizations which rose and fell.
Whoa, I thought these fallen angels, the pure beings, brought forth these civilizations. See, this is the problem. We're 6 minutes in. 6 minutes into this video, and it's gone contrary to itself 7 times already. How can you get a definitive answer when they keep pulling yin and yang bullshit? As soon as you get centered on one part of the story, they tell you a completely different story with no chance of the two stories ever connecting. That's called a lie when you're telling somebody it's the truth. If you're telling people this is history, this is origin of humans. This isn't the origin of humans. This is the fallen angels' point of view. How they're going to lie to you. Because in the end, they will burn. They just don't want to be alone, so they opened up CERN.
Different soul groups gathered their experiences in these civilizations. However, the guardians of evolution, also called angels, seemingly took the power into their own hands. They saw how beautiful their creations had become. Some of these extraterrestrials...
So now you are their creation. See, now they've changed the story, and we didn't realize it. Let me catch you up. We're only at 6:24 in this video, and they've already told you a third story. Now they're going to tell you the biblical story of Genesis 6, and they're going to tell you in a really romantic fucking way. Now get ready. Sip your wine and listen to this beautiful, passionate story of how they fell in love with creation. Wait, I'm sorry, their own creation. Now they were sent here by the cosmic God, but now you're not the cosmic God's creation anymore, you're their creation.
They saw how beautiful their creations had become. Some of these extraterrestrials from outer space were tempted by the earthly kings who were always offering them gifts, including beautiful women and even their own daughters.
Oh man, it's the fault of the earthly kings. They said to the Watchers, who were supposed to stay out of sight, well, come here, man, and you can have all these women. You can even have my daughter. Like, that's what happened. Wait, no, this valid, credible story and is giving us the truth right here. Oh, what a poor fate.
Some of these extraterrestrials from outer space were tempted by the earthly kings who were always offering...
Oh, earthly kings took Lucifer up to the top of the mountain and said, jump and ask the angels to catch you, man. It said, look, man, take these women. Earthly kings took Lucifer to the mountain and said, take these women, man. And Lucifer couldn't resist. He said, damn straight. I'll even take your daughter.
Them gifts, including beautiful women and even their own daughters. Some of the emissaries of the Confederation gave in to temptation. The beings from outer...
Ooh, of the Confederation. This is Melchizedek now. Now Melchizedek is the evil one that's boning human women, right? Now Melchizedek already stated the Melchizedek order came down to earth. Now Melchizedek is no longer the temple of the priests like he says in the Bible. Now Melchizedek is an order of angels that came down to watch the humans. Now Melchizedek is part of the Watchers. And they couldn't resist vagina either. They were like, damn, baby.
Space physically procreated children with the reincarnated beings. This was the only action forbidden by the Elohim. From then on, they had to give up their status of impartiality and immortality.
Did you hear that? By the Elohim. Now, when we look up Elohim, it means group. But these guys are telling us about each group. They're not breaking down Elohim as a group. They're saying the Elohim as if it was just El himself. Do you see how the story keeps changing? You got to picture a yin and yang symbol right there, right? And it keeps going. It's never even. It's always unbalanced now. And yes, I understand yin and yang means balance. No, they're not giving you balance. They're giving you 3 different perspectives. In each perspective, they're telling you from the defense attorney side of the fallen angel. Oh, well, these wicked men, they were kings of the earth. And they offered their daughters and other women to us Watchers. But we weren't supposed to be the Watchers. Melchizedek order was supposed to actually be Watchers.
Angels seemingly took the power into their own hands. They saw how beautiful their creations had become. Some of these extraterrestrials from outer space were tempted by the earthly kings who were always offering them gifts, including beautiful women and even their own daughters. Some of the emissaries of the Confederation gave in to temptation. The beings from outer space physically procreated children with the reincarnated beings. This was the only action forbidden by the Elohim. From then on, they had to give up their status of impartiality and immortality. They were banned.
He actually already said they were reincarnated. So they already gave up their immortality. Immortality means you don't die. Did somebody switch every word in the freaking dictionary or what? Immortal means live forever, not body hop. Immortal does not mean I lived and I died, but my spirit went to something else and I lived and I died. These people think they're dealing with children.
The space physically procreated children with the reincarnated beings. This was the only action forbidden by the Elohim. From then on, they had to give up their status of impartiality and immortality. They were banished from the inside of the earth, from Agartha, the Garden of Eden.
Here we go with that again.
From then on, they had lost their eternal youth and their androgyny.
Their what? Their what? Their androgyny. What did I tell you? I told you Lucifer was a hermaphrodite.
From Agartha, the Garden of Eden. From then on, they had lost their eternal youth and their androgyny. The
fucking queer.
Inner closed cosmos of a complete human being, through the union of the soul and the body's personality, suffered a separation. They were thus condemned to a fall and a return to the process of human evolution.
Did you just hear that? He said in a really nice way they turned psychotic.
Inner closed cosmos of a complete human being, through the union of the soul and the body's personality, suffered a separation. They were thus condemned to a fall and a return to the process of human evolution. There is a time when the old female Indians tell in the Sanskrit texts that 3 of their Indian cities have circulated around the earth, and the 3 cities are described in detail. The one belongs to God X, the other to God Y, the third to God Z. They are described colorfully in the meeting halls. They're described as manas. These are little vehicles which have come down to earth from these heavenly cities, and often people were given a privilege. They were taken along by the so-called gods, the teachers, in the heavenly cities. And truly, the heavenly cities are described in all detail.
Now, put a Caucasian in here, you put this Indian in here, you put this blue person in here. The only one that's going to look white is these freaking blue people. Huh. And the Gentile hide amongst the Caucasians. Huh? The in-between. Between the bisque color of the Caucasian and the paleness of the blue people. Hence, Caucasians turn green or blue when they're sick, and they look like this thing when it's healthy.
But then an argument broke out between the gods. One was called Siva, not the Shiva. The Siva with a C-I.
No, you're right. It's Shiva. Don't bullshit me.
This Siva had, because some so-called evil spirits had settled in one of the heavenly cities, destroyed it, and he did it with a devastating beam. It is described how the city fell to the ground.
He did it with a devastating beam.
Fell into the Earth's atmosphere, and finally in rubble onto the Earth. And it looked as though splinters of a meteor had fallen to Earth. Initially, the fallen gods lived for a few thousand years, but after Atlantis, took mere hundreds of years. For example, Methuselah reached 960 years of age. Yet the demigods had...
But it didn't say Methuselah was cursed for sleeping with women. Actually, it didn't say he was a son of God either. So, I think it's kind of weird how they twist the story, and a lot of these people that are their initiates are ignorant to the true stories.
At one consolation, they had paranormal abilities far more advanced than those of ordinary mortals.
Now, did you see in the cloud above him? Yeah, watch this shit, dude. This shit.
Of age. Yet the demigods had one consolation. They had paranormal.
Now, this is the picture that we saw earlier where I thought it was a woman, but there's a mustache and it's a man. It's a man begging this entity for power. Look in the background. See the true form of the entity? The entity is right here, pretending to be this. See the numerous arms? 1, 2 on that side. Look on this side, you'll see 1, 2, 3. This is the same freaking statue that is in front of CERN. Okay? This is just... Do I have to type in statue in front of CERN? Yeah, might as well, right? Like I'm doing that good with... whatever. Alright, so... Alright, I won with that one, so kiss my butt. Alright, so let's go back. Now look at the painting. Get real big. You see it? 1 little, 2 little, 3 little, 4 little, 5 little, and there's one right in the back real faint. 6 little. See the hand? You can see his hand right there. See that image is painted right there again? Like, hey man. Like, like, you know, like, what's that? This somebody on Facebook sent it to me once. Like, they sent me the blue demon that this thing was created from. There's a real life blue Vishnu type of demon that's an arachnoid. I actually wanted Spider-Man when he had 8 arms, or 6 arms. Here, I'll just do 6-arm Spider-Man. Okay, now nobody's ever heard of it. Alright, well, eventually Spider-Man's blood that's infected by that spider becomes, I guess, an infection to it. Spider, 6 a.m. spider, 6-arm Spider-Man. That's why. When this infects him, he goes into this, and then eventually, to get rid of it, it needs to make its own mass, and then this comes out of it. But this is actually historically related to this. So is the whole Spider-Man thing. The Spider-Man is actually one of these characters, and I just don't know the name of it right now. So let's listen to more of the lies. And listen, if you don't want to watch this, it's cool. Catch me on the next video. But you've got to understand, you're going to meet people face to face. If you stay alive, you're going to meet people face to face that have this belief, and being able to stop these lies might help you. You might benefit from it.
Abilities far more advanced than those of ordinary mortals.
Alright,
Through their higher vibrating shock.
This is what they're doing when they want to deal with the blood of Spider-Man, the blood of Captain America, the gas that changes Captain America. Nimrod became something else. Nimrod fought a Nephilim, and Nimrod ate the body of the Nephilim, and Nimrod became the blood of the Nephilim joined with Nimrod's chromosome, and Nimrod became something else. This is what they want. This is the whole point of mutants and X-Men, and this is about all these DC and Marvel have been writing about for almost 100 years. They've been writing about mythology, taking the better characters of mythology and making them into merchandise.
And energy centers in the physical body, they were still able to make use of their 5 higher senses. They were clairvoyant, clairaudient, clear feeling, clear touching, and clear smelling. Furthermore, they had the gift of magnetism, which they were able to use to heal people.
So now watch, this is where they're going to push Jesus in the middle of this. Now listen, you've got to understand what side Jesus is on. He is not on the side of the Creator. That's why you're not hearing Moses brought up. You're not hearing Jeremiah. You're not hearing the prophets, the mouthpieces of the Lord. And Jesus, again, is not a mouthpiece of the Lord. The way he is written to you, it is written that he is God. I and God are one. That is ego. That is not team talk. I and God are on the same side. That's team talk. I and God are one. That says I am God.
Their knowledge of sophisticated technologies rested in their subconscious. Their extrasensory gifts made them the spiritual guides of the outer world. The prophets, high priests, and magicians of all times have been the souls of fallen gods. Yet all this was part of the Creator's plan, and these souls have made a voluntary sacrifice for the maturing humankind in order to provide it with a light on its path to becoming human and to the Godly Father.
I think it's funny when they show you these these wicked priest monks over here, and they make them faceless, you know. I think that's it's more like an open vessel for these entities to be able to claim today, you know. But it's opinional, you know. You could see like he's wearing some kind of chest plate, right? But this one is weird. Don't you see two eyes and a face right there, as if it's coming out of that one's chest? Like, I don't know, that's kind of creepy to me, you know, but that's just me. And if that's just theatrical for them, you know, that's cool and shit, you know, because they freaked me out. Good job, guys. But if that's not theatrics, that's just, you know, something weird going on, I think it's kind of weird that I've even found it.
On its path to becoming human and to the Godly Father.
Oh, no, it's just some kind of chest plate that actually looked like a face at that point. Creepy.
Once upon a time, there existed on earth a high culture whose people were filled with the Spirit and knew all the mysteries of creation. These secrets of creation were revealed to them because they lived in harmony with the laws.
See, now that's just bullshit. They're talking about Noah now. And they're talking about the medical books, the herb edible books. That's what now they're combining the righteous acts with the wicked paganistic aspects of things.
When human beings choose to live in wholeness and in harmony with the purpose of their spirit and soul.
This is Genesis 5. This is why the descendants of Adam had long lifespans. Because they taught each other the laws. Cain's, Tubal Cain, however you want to call him, his descendants did not teach each other the laws of the Creator, the laws of creation. This is where they're tricking you again. We're only 10 minutes in, and they're telling you a different aspect.
This choice opens the doors to a higher perception, and the universal spirit offers the truth of life through divine inspiration. The result is global enlightenment, and civilization develops.
No, that's not how civilization develops. Those people that were righteous and lived with the laws from the Creator lived away from society. And when society was dying before the flood, they sought them out.
In Atlantis lived the fourth root race, which had reached the pinnacle of its development. Its divinely inspired scientists had acquired the secrets of universal energy. At that time, scientists and divinely inspired masters worked together to draw harmonic technologies out of the spiritual reservoir of the universal account.
Harmonic technology. So they were working with harmonies. Now they've told you there might be a chance they were using sound, harmonic sound, to lift blocks. Now, they've told you, well, they probably had giants and lifted blocks. Now you can pretty much see that most likely both of the things worked in some sort of unison. We have the record, and even their side of it, fallen angels came to earth and mated with women. In the Bible, it tells us they produced giants, and right here, from their perspective, they're telling us that they worked with harmonics. Now, we already have bones of dinosaur. We already have enough cave drawings of, since a caveman can't build something scientific, he sure can draw it. We already have enough caveman drawings of cavemen riding dinosaurs. We've got scientists today that claim dinosaurs probably were used to drag giant stones into some position. So we got giants, we got giant beasts. See, it says giants lived in the earth in that day. It doesn't say giant men. We know there's giant men when we get to Goliath, but it doesn't say giant men. It says giants. The Tyrannosaurus Rex was a giant. They show us giant wasps that still live in Japan today. That two stings and you're done. So there were giant men, animals, and insects at this point in time. We need to understand the scope of things. There were giant plants at that time. Do we still have the sequoia tree? Yeah, we still have the sequoia tree. Giant trees to show that giant trees existed at that time.
At that time, scientists and divinely inspired masters worked together to draw harmonic technologies out of the spiritual reservoir of the universal Akashic records. For a long time, power and love were united. Human beings did not have an ego separate from the higher self. Humankind experienced a blossoming in all branches of science and in space exploration. Almost all illnesses were curable.
Yeah, okay, first off, that's not true. At this time, Tubal Cain's children are on the earth, and they are getting what? They are being turned wicked by the fallen angels. So what this person is saying is not true. It did not exist like this. Hear the music, how it's all blissful? Like it was wonderful to live with the fallen angels. Don't you get what's going on? We're in the last days when the fallen angels are released to walk back on earth in the flesh and do what they will. They will fuck us until they're bored, and then they will eat us because they are hungry. They're androgynous. If they like a man's personality to carry themselves as, they have no problem with raping a man. If in Sodom and Gomorrah they wanted to rape angels, don't you think there's some kind of angel, whether I'm sure fallen, I'm sure, that rapes men?
And people often lived to a very old age. They had contact with other planets and with outer space human and spiritual beings. The human race living at that time possessed the universal understanding that the planet is a biological living being, and that the planet is a body and its people the cells of that body. People knew neither ownership nor egoism, and they kept their planetary body, the Earth, clean, because they knew that they only had one Earth in common. They could neither sell nor divide it, nor were they allowed to market its water, air, or resources. Everybody had everything they needed. There was no class distinction. There were neither rich nor poor people. They gave
this is a load of shit. If we go to mythology, we don't even have to go to the Bible. If we go to mythology, it tells you it's like the Dark Ages all over. Each of these fallen angels were going for their own, what? Dominion. They were killing off men for kingdoms. They were killing off other angels for more power. What do? Those angels don't have a den to be kept in at that point. They would recycle like a video game. Back into the spirit, back into flesh.
The living cosmic laws of brotherhood replaced the dogmatic religions and laws. People did not know labor. Rather, they contributed joyfully to the community with their personal achievements. Each individual's talents were encouraged. The understanding of both the inner spiritual worlds and the material outer worlds enabled the archetypes, the risen master.
Now, okay, we gotta look at this blue thing again, right? Now, you gotta ask yourself, hey, why is this girl that's blue showing up each time over and over again? Again, because these guys are trying to indoctrinate you into accepting these freaking blue people. I told you many times these fallen angels are blue. When they're depicted by humans and they're drawn as blue people. The Hindus, something about the Hindu that they favored, and they lived like there. They had many kingdoms there. And that's where a lot of their mating went on. I mean, you know about a whole hierarchy of from the elephant-headed Hindu thing to the multiple-armed Shiva. And again, them that say they are Jews and are not named half of the 12 fake Jew months after these blue shits. Nissan, you know, oh man, I'll get back into that eventually. Now look, she's got all this Egyptian shit on her. Them that say they are Jews and are not. This is the star that holds down the people of David. Each point of this star is a resting place of a fallen angel, and Jabulon sits in the middle, and that's from their writing. In their writing, it says Jabulon sits in the middle. From the Bible, it says 6 nations are against us. That means the gods of 6 nations. And it tells us the nations, and it tells us in another section what's the god of their nation. This is why it's called the Star Remphan and Cheremosh. Them that say they are Jews that want you enslaved, with you enslaved, they stay on top. If you're not enslaved, the first thing you're going to do is attack the white man out of vengeance. See? So why? Okay, she's got the pyramid cap on top. See her forehead? She's got the pyramid cap, like the third eye would be sitting inside of her forehead. Right? Now, what is she pinned up to? See, all these Christians always say, oh no, Christianity's not like that.
The understanding of both the inner spiritual worlds and the material outer worlds enabled the archetype.
Ain't that a fake pope? Dressed with a freaking ankh on his fish head now? What do you bet when the new changeover happens, the world church starts, they dress like this? It's syncretism. You ever call somebody a fucking cretin? That is one of the nastiest things. You've combined different religions into a what?
The risen masters of wisdom, to live amongst humans and to teach them the great mysteries and initiations.
See, this is what they want. This is that they want to live amongst humans and teach. How many people have a freaking YouTube channel and then still come to this channel and still try to... I teach you one thing, they try to teach you the exact same, the exact opposite in the same video. There's no point in saying there's a spirit on them. There's no point in saying they're possessed by the devil, because they're not. They're influenced. Back to that monologue that I gave you in the beginning. This is influence.
Understanding of both the inner spiritual worlds and the material outer worlds enabled the archetypes, the risen masters of wisdom, to live amongst humans and to teach them the great mysteries and initiation steps of the temple.
Initiation steps of the temples. This is what they desire. They want to be what? Amongst you and desired. That's what they want.
The simplicity of the universal knowledge of the five elements, earth, fire, water, air, and the cosmic ether, formed the basis of a global sustenance.
So it's so simple, we just all don't get it. See, like, the root of all these things have always been here, but we can barely use each of these things individually. Fire, water, air, and earth. We can barely use them individually. So now these guys are going to appeal to us. You need us. Look at what we've been able to do with fire, water, air, and earth. We've been able to complete the computer. When you touch it, it's like touching water. Fire runs through the cable. It's hard as ground. And you can hear it. It's breathing. You can hear mine, it's breathing. Sounds like its lungs dying.
Humans still recognize that they're a part of God on earth, and that nothing exists separately from God. They were conscious that if they were a part of the creational spirit, which had been materializing for millions of years, they had to possess in themselves dormant but almighty powers waiting to be awakened.
So, you understand what they're saying? They're saying, you having a child, is reincarnation. Even though you're still alive, you have your kid, that's reincarnation. Now, the knowledge that the whole world is gained is now moved on and passed to your child. Right? This is what they're saying. Here's the problem. The world's ruled by these people, and they hold back knowledge. They hold back the truth.
And that nothing exists separately from God. They were conscious that if they were a part of the creational spirit, which had been materializing for millions of years, they had to possess in themselves dormant but almighty powers waiting to be awakened.
You have to awaken the almighty power inside yourself. See, it just told you nothing can exist without the Creator. Watch this.
They were conscious that if they were a part of the creational spirit, which had been materializing for millions of years, they had to possess in themselves dormant but almighty powers.
Wait.
Humans still recognize that they're a part of God on earth, and that nothing exists separately from God.
Right? There it is. That's one bold statement. Humans are still a part of God, and nothing exists separately from God.
They were conscious that if they were a part of the creational spirit, which had been materializing for millions of years, they had to possess in themselves dormant but almighty powers waiting to be awakened.
Did you just hear that? Humans are a part of God. God must be gigantic for us to be a part. We must be a small part. Each of us a small part, right? Now all of a sudden, inside of us, He must be. Now this gigantic being must be inside of us. Do you see how they went from the macro to the micro to the macro again? But it doesn't really hold water. How can we be a part of God, but somewhere inside of us is God? Listen. Somewhere inside of us is instructions and a code. That code is to be a servant, not to be God. That is ego. I have those thoughts. You have those thoughts. Look, if I keep playing this hour-long video at this rate, it'll be 5 hours. So we're just gonna wrap it up there. Look, pagans, because they've turned down the correct way to worship and go to heaven. They've accepted these other deities, these other entities, as if these things are gonna be able to save them. You ask yourself a question. If you are the creator, and you created these sons of God, and these sons of God have the power of choice, no matter what anybody told you. If angels didn't have choice, then why are there fallen angels? People lied to you constantly. There's only one reason they could lie to you. They don't get brownie points when you die. They get brownie points when you're in front of the Creator on Judgment Day and you've failed. When we fail, we go to hell. Then Lucifer's not alone. And that's the goal. It doesn't matter what he tells you in this lifespan. It doesn't. He doesn't want to be alone. You must be strong with your convictions. You must understand what the Creator actually is. It is a man. It is not a man that came through any vagina. He is not born. The things he created failed him. And he promised them damnation. They don't want to be alone. You can fight them. All you need is their mouth to be tied. And these lies are what they're going to use. You tie their mouth with the Old Testament. The truth. People want to tell you the Bible's not real. You can find plenty of moments in history that coincide with the Bible. It is a war. The war is for your soul. On Judgment Day, you will have to stand for your sins and the abominations that you've caused to mankind.